Okay, how's the lipstick? No, seriously, there's a new industry that's going to spring up, and it's called makeup for masks, I'm certain. Anybody want to be a millionaire, just start inventing that. Good morning. I'm Reverend Jackie Holland, and it is my honor, my privilege to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living. And in our sanctuary this morning, because this is our first official open Sunday, we have some people who are with us this morning. Oh, it is so wonderful to see all of you. So for those of you who are watching us from this, any minute the skies are going to open up and rain Sunday from Boise, Idaho. If you're at home watching us with your in your pajamas and drinking your coffee, welcome. Whatever time you're watching this, I feel you behind the camera, and I'm so grateful that you are with us this morning. For those of you who are in the sanctuary, I just want to remind you that as long as you are 6 feet apart, which you are in your seats, approximately, you don't have to wear masks while you're seated. However, if you're bending over and talking to people, let's model for the world what we want to see happening right now, which is taking care of each other. So you can take your masks off when you're seated, but if you're up and about, please put your mask back on and when you're talking to people. And that's pretty much all I want to say this morning, except just to take a moment now and take a breath. Reminding you, as Rex is going to just pray us in with music, reminding you that immediately after service today at 11:45, we have our Zoom hospitality time. So you can begin to prepare for that. Just go to our cslboise.org page and look at the e-blast, and it will give you all the information that you need to join us immediately after service. I'll be on there, as well as some of our practitioners, just to answer any questions that you have, just to do a check-in with each other as we are still navigating our way through this time together. So let's just take a deep breath. This morning, we are so magnificently supported by a beautiful group of musicians. Ted is on the bass, and Phil Bowden back there hiding is on the drums. Our handsome and very talented music director, Mr. Rex Miller, is on the keyboards once again. And this morning, we welcome back the princess of the CSL, Miss Lisa Biddick. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. On sound this morning, back in the back, sitting on her throne is Miss Maria Blank. On the camera is Donna Sheedy, our practitioner. And bringing forth our spiritual practices this morning is our practitioner, Miss Jo Hughes. So let's take a deep breath together. Do a morning check-in, as we always do. How is your body today? Strong lungs, immune system strong. We're expressing gratitude with every breath we take for this strong body, strong lungs. How is your mind today? Filled with joy, open and receptive? And how is your heart today? Filled with love, gratitude, and spirit.
Good morning. It is my honor to introduce Jean Crum, who is going to help light the world religion candles from the Christ candles. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. In lighting these candles, we honor the one family of humanity, made up of over 4,000 religions and spiritual traditions throughout the world. We light the first candle for Judaism, which teaches there is only one God, and that religion isn't one aspect of life, it is life. We light the second candle for Christianity, where letting go and letting God is grace and humility personified. Christianity accepts this as a liberating and beautiful experience. We light the third candle in honor of Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Buddhism, the religion of those seeking to be awakened, and honors the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The fifth and final candle honors New Thought, encompassing metaphysics, which transcends the physical and seeks a clear understanding of the realm of ideas and their legitimate expression. Let us quiet our minds and open our hearts to the spiritual message being sung by Lisa Biddick.
Where there is hatred, let me bring love. Where there is doubt, let me bring faith. Where there is falsehood, let me bring truth. Where there is pain, I'll comfort you. Where there is silence, let me sing praise. Where there's despair, let me bring hope. Where there is blindness, let me bring sight. Where there is darkness, let me bring light. And with these words I speak, grant that I may not seek to be heard, but to hear, to be consoled, but to console, not to be seen, but to see, to be loved, but to love. For when we give love, we will receive. When we forgive love, we'll find reprieve. It is in dying
please join me in prayer? As we are gathered here in this space, knowing that this space is not our church, it is each and every person here and all those participating in their homes. Recognizing the one source of all life, the one creative spirit that has made all things that have ever been or ever will be, and who is in ultimate control of all that is happening. And we recognize, too, our unity with this source, knowing that we are all divine manifestations of this one mind, this one spirit, this one source of all life. And so from that place of unity, I bless now our time together as we listen to the words being brought to us and celebrate our ability to be together in this space. I especially bless Reverend Jackie Holland, knowing that she has been inspired by Spirit to bring us the message that she brings us today. And so I give thanks as I release my word into the law, knowing that it is done. Repeat after me. Namaste. Om. Ashe. Aho. Amen. And so it is.
So many broken nights, I felt like it was the end. All of the losing fights, knocking me down again. But it was in the falling I found my faith. And it was in my weakness I found the strength. So I'm not afraid, I put my heart through the fire. I won't get burned, it's only making me stronger. Even if it hurts, so I'll do whatever it takes. I know that I will be changed when I walk through the fire. I'm coming out a fighter, a fighter. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm coming out a fighter, a fighter. Yeah, 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 yeah. Voices inside my head, faces of all my fears, telling me hope is dead, but still I'm standing here. As long as this blood runs through my veins, you said I won't break under this pain. So I'm not afraid, I put my heart through the fire. I won't get burned, it's only making me stronger. Even if it hurts, so I'll do whatever it takes. I know that I will be changed when I walk through the fire. I'm coming out a fighter, a fighter. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm coming out a fighter, a fighter. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm coming out a fighter, a fighter. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm coming out a fighter, a fighter. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I know you're on my side. Oh, 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 oh. I will not fear the night. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause I was made to fight. Yeah, I was made to fight. No, I'm not afraid. Put my heart through the fire. I won't get burned. It's only making me stronger. Even if it hurts, so I'll do whatever it takes. I know that I will be changed
Miss Lisa Biddick, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this morning I'm having a real appreciation for actors. Okay, now let me explain that to you. Like, I couldn't figure out how to get up on the stage without walking in front of somebody, because what looks on camera looks very different than what's in the room, right? And so for the last few weeks, we've kind of just like done whatever we wanted to do to get up on the stage. And this morning, anyway, in case y'all were wondering what the minister was running around about. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, listen, well, Lisa Biddick, yeah. Well, Lisa Biddick's on my mind. I'm going to go ahead and make a little announcement, and that is that Lisa Biddick has received permission from Karen Drucker to record some of Karen Drucker, which is one of our New Thought songwriters and vocalists in the New Thought movement. She received permission to record Karen Drucker's music, and you can download it if you go to go to lisabiddick.com, lisabiddick.com, and download some of the most amazing music that you've ever heard. So thank you once again, Lisa Biddick. Yes, yes, yes. So good morning again. What a week, yes? We're not going to go into it. Probably we will. But what a week we've had. Ups, highs, downs, lows, upsets, some wins. It's been a week. It's been a week. And as we talked about last week, I don't even remember what we talked about last week, but it was how we can move through this world, making our choices, making a difference in our world. Plato said this, quoting Plato, he said, "The real world of meaning has opened only to those who dared to question." The real world of meaning has opened only to those who dared to question. It has remained closed to the ordinary mind, those satisfied to allow others to tell them what is true and what is right. That has given me some comfort this week as I have struggled with trying to find meaning. How can I find meaning with what is going on in my world as it is unfolding in the media and on the streets as well? How can I find meaning in that? And I was comforted. The real world of meaning is opened only to those who dared to question. So it's a good thing. It's a good time that we are living in right now, because we dare to question everything that's going on in our world. We're questioning things we have believed all of our lives. We are questioning rules, regulations, laws that have been on the books, but are they lawful? We're questioning ideas about the other that we have never thought of before. And just when we think, I can rest, I can relax, something else happens. More rights are taken away. As in our transgender community this week, with an executive order that took away medical care for our transgender community. Or we watch another person of color being killed in the streets of Atlanta. Dare to question everything, to find the meaning. How much of our lives has been about allowing other people to tell us what is true? We've not had the courage, many of us up until recently, to challenge what we believe and the meaning of life. We just haven't had the courage. But there's something deep within us that if we listen to it, will tell us what is true for each of us. What's true for me may not be true for you. And I'm not here today to tell you what's true for you, but I can only tell you about the life that God has given to me. And I tell you that at the end of this life, this time around, if you believe in that, when I give it back to God, I want to be able to say that I was one of those individuals, one of those human beings that was that looked at themselves and that moved from being a victim into one person who looked at themselves as the divine revealing itself. I can't say what your purpose is, but I know at the deepest level of my heart that that's mine. When I give this life back to Spirit, I want to be able to say, I moved from being a victim, I moved from being mundane, I moved from being closed down to being the one that said, I will express the divine in me. That's my purpose. We are being called on in this world today to search for our purpose, and it certainly is not to sit on our couch and eat white flour during this pandemic. I tried that for the first couple of weeks. Didn't work. What is our purpose? Why are we here? In 1988, I was kind of new to the, early 80s I came into this philosophy. I think it was the early 80s. Could even have been the late 70s, I don't know. And in Time Magazine, of all things, in Time Magazine, there was an article, actually a letter written by Wayne Dyer. And he wrote it to future generations. And this was, it was sponsored by something called the Open Forum for Speaking to the Future. In 1988, and I pulled this out of my files last night quite late because I remember it, and it so touched me. I've spoken about it here before, but he addressed it to the people of the year 2088. You know, most of us are going to be around then, I think, right? Are you going to be around 2088? Let's see, 2020. That's 68 more years, right? You know, I'm not good at this number stuff. Okay, whatever. How many of you? Okay, we've got some young people in this room. Okay, young teens. You're teens, right? Are you teenagers? I want to address these questions to you that Wayne Dyer wrote in 1988. Now, some of y'all, some of y'all got a lot of years left. Don't be discounting yourself. But here is what he said. He did it, his entire letter that was his submission to the Open Forum for Speaking to the Future was written in questions. And here is what he said. He said this: have you evolved into a higher human being than we are right now on planet Earth in 2020? I'm going to bring it to 2020 for these things. I wonder if you have been able to move beyond distance, distrust, fear, and hostility. Where are you in the evolution of this higher human being now stirring in the breasts of all of us in 2020? Have you learned that your humanity lies beyond the boundaries of the body? That a human is much more than a pile of bones, blood, gristle, and skin? That humans are more than their packaging? Can you see yourselves as spiritual beings having a human experience rather than human beings who may be having a spiritual experience? Do you see that what you think about expands and changes our worlds, teens? What you think about expands and changes our world. As I write, he said, some of us are nurturing these ideas like seedlings. 1, we can create thought. And 2, out of thought comes the entire direction of our lives. Did you hear that, teenagers? Out of our thought comes the entire direction of our lives. I want you to think about, I want you to see if you can remember for me, don't say it out loud now, the last 3 thoughts you had this morning before you left your house. Got it? Were those life-expanding thoughts? Mine was not. It had to do with my bad dogs. I'm just going to say. Then he concluded this letter, which really, I have the entire letter, and I'd love to gift it to you girls. He concludes, if the answer to any of my questions is yes, then indeed a higher human being is in process. And the trend towards destroying this being called human being has been reversed. if we can say yes, that we are evolving, that we understand that our thoughts have power, we understand that we are responsible for the evolution of humanity, then we can reverse the destruction of this thing called human being. If you do not believe that we are in destruction mode, all you have to do is turn on the television. Now, I do not believe that humanity is destroying itself. Absolutely not. I believe that right now, humanity is destroying the old ways of being so that we can emerge into the new humanity. The article, of course, signed by Wayne Dyer, was a marvelous article asking the same questions that we have to ask ourselves now. Are we willing to move past how we're seeing ourselves right now as community, as a world, and move into the greater expression that we know we are? And how do we do that? By paying attention to our spiritual side and not to be victimized by everything that's going on in the world. I can tell you, it's easy to fall into victimization right now. It's very easy to say, it's not my fault. You know, I know some of you, I've told you this story before, but when I purchased my first Macintosh computer, my first Mac, it was that little black and white box. Okay, I'm aging myself. But it was. And anytime you would put something in it that was incorrect, or you do something incorrect, somebody in my office had programmed my computer to say, it's not my fault. So every time I would do something on that computer, it would say, it's not my fault. Okay, now that's funny, and I hated it. but many of us live our life that way. It's not my fault. It's not my fault what's happening. Now, we talked about that last week. I'm not going to go over it again. Listen to last week's if you don't remember what I said. But today I want to talk about dare to welcome change. Dare to welcome change. Because here it is, folks. Change is happening whether we like it or not. Change is a-coming. If we could sing that Sam Cooke song, right? Is that Sam Cooke? Change is going to come. I don't know. Change is going to come. We deal with changes. We deal with shifts and dislocations in our life every single day. And when we allow the divinity within us to rise up, when we allow ourselves to recognize that this change is not going to hurt me, not going to challenge me, not going to destroy me, but it is to allow the divine in us to rise up and meet the change, all is well. But what we are experiencing right now in the United States of America are individuals who are resisting change, including me and you, perhaps at an unconscious or a subconscious level. I know when I first began this work, change was coming right and left, and finally I said, enough. I've had enough. I don't want any more change. Just let me rest. But that's not how the world works. We have to move, as does all humanity, to a place where we can view change as positive. We have to greet change kindly, openly. We have to welcome change. Change that makes us uncomfortable. Obviously, those of us who have had our very being swimming in this thing called white privilege are finding change difficult. I'm not going to deny that. And I've been on the front lines of social activism my entire life, yet change is difficult. So let's acknowledge that. Take a deep breath and just acknowledge that. And then acknowledge that change is inevitable. Since the beginning of time, life has been about change. So we have to look forward to it, embrace it, welcome it. The founder of religious science, Science of Mind, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said this: nature will not let us stay in any one place too long. She will let us stay just long enough to gather the experience necessary to the unfolding and advancement of the soul. Nature won't let you stay comfortable in the normal. Nature will only allow you to stay there so that you can get the experience necessary for the unfolding of your divinity, of who and what you are. He went on to say this. This is a wise provision, for should we stay in one situation too long, we would become too set, too rigid, and too inflexible. A definition, perhaps, of our Congress right now. Been there too long, inflexible, set, too rigid. He said this, nature demands change in order that we may advance. When change comes, we should welcome it with a smile on our lips and a song in our heart. I want you to take a moment and think about the most difficult change, a past change, that you have gone through in your life. Think about this. Teens, you've gone through lots of changes too. Think about the most difficult change you ever went through. I'll give you a minute to think about it. For some of you, perhaps it was your health. For some, a divorce. A lifestyle. Are you dead? Any of you? Did the change kill you? Ernest Holmes is saying that nature will not let you stay in one place too long. Nature will push change on you for the unfolding and the expression of the divinity that is you. So teens, I'm standing here a lot older than you, and I can tell you this. I look back on every change in my life with a smile now. At the time, not so much sometimes. Am I right, guys? Not so much all the time. But the reality is that I can, in my life, look back and say, this was for my good, for my unfolding, for my expression of divinity. So when we understand change, we can welcome it, and we can welcome it warmly. We can even anticipate it. It can be an opportunity. Because here's the bottom line. I keep saying this over and over to you. Folks, the bottom line is that change is happening. Nothing we can do about it. Psychiatry, I once went to a psychiatrist. Now, this has been a lot of years ago. Maybe it was in the 60s or the 70s. I don't even know why I went to a therapist at the time, but yeah, I think it's a good thing to do. But I remember this therapist. I even remember her name, but she was in LA, so I'm not going to tell you who it was. But I remember her saying to me something about, well, you know, Jackie, you've got to learn to cope with the change. You've got to learn to cope with the change. And I remember thinking at that time, I don't want to cope with anything. I don't want to cope with anything. I don't want to put up with anything. That says to me, oh, I'll just put up with it. I don't like it. I want to learn how to welcome change. I want to move past coping into participating in the change. I want to have a say in my change. I don't want the world to change me. I want to have a say in my change. So I don't want to cope with it. I don't want to have change happen in my life and say, okay, I'll put up with you. That's what coping means to me. Is there a different definition of coping for you guys? I'm just saying, I want to participate in my change. And I want to participate in the change of the world. I want to welcome it. You know, we say things like this, oh, I'll be so glad when things get back to normal. Folks, listen to me. There is no normal. No more. If anything that this pandemic and the virus of the mind called racism, discrimination, separatism, and otherness have taught us, it is that there is no normal. So we will never get back to normal. It's not going to happen. Since Spirit created this world and started with one tiny cell, what did that cell do? Anybody? It multiplied. It became 2 and 3 and trillions. And from the beginning of time, change happened. Change is inevitable. There's nothing we can do to stop it. And by the way, that's not our domain. That's not our right to stop it. We can't stop it any more than we can stop thinking. How many of you want to stop thinking right now? Try. Go on. Stop thinking. Don't think about anything. I'm telling you, don't. Think about millions, billions of people around the world. This world changes because thought creates change. So unless there is some way to stop billions of people from thinking, this world is going to change. And we are living in a time, and it's so exciting. I know y'all are tired of it, but isn't it exciting? Yes, it's a little scary. Teens, I'm going to tell you something. This is going to be the story of your life. It's going to be the story of your life. When you're an old lady like me, people are going to say, what did you do during the pandemic in 2020? What did you do during the social upheaval in 2020? What part did you play in changing your world? Who did you stand up for in 2020? Were you silent? Or did you use the principles taught in this philosophy that we are all one, that in God there is no separation, that we are one humanity, one life, one family of human beings? This is their story, and it's just starting for those teenagers that are sitting over there with their papa. For many of us, this is kind of our denouement, if you will. I know I started in my teens a social activist. I marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. I even left college to do this work. And now we're back on the streets again, doing similar work for the same. What is change? What is change? I don't know who said this, but it's a quote. We are experiencing the great creative surge of the all-powerful Creator. That is change. It is the great creative surge of the all-powerful Creator. It is rising and swelling in the souls of men, women, youth, and children. Everything in the universe is under the sway of this irresistible force, moving towards fuller expression of itself. Each of us is a part of that evolving creative force. Wow, it is really raining out there, people. We can deny it if we want to. We can try to stop it. We can try to avoid it. But it is happening all the time, and it is up to us to view it in this light. Change. It's happening all the time. The great Jean Houston, such a light in our world. The great Jean Houston said this: the rapid change now going on is the evolutionary potential. It's asserting itself, declaring itself into being. What's going on in the streets? What's going on in the streets of Atlanta and New York and Chicago and Minneapolis and Boise, Idaho? It's the surge of the great power of God itself coming into expression, coming into something new. It is the evolutionary process, and it's exciting and it's scary because change can be. How easy it is to stay in known hells rather than move to unknown heavens. We're comfortable. We don't like change. I'm watching people run to their cars, and I'm laughing in case y'all on the Facebook Live wonder what I'm looking at. It's really raining out there. So listen, there are certain things that change brings up. One time when I was in the advertising business at Young and Rubicam, we hired several psychologists to come in and work with us in a program to assist advertising people with burnout. I mean, really. Now that I'm a minister, it makes me laugh. That was burnout. That was stress. Oh, please. But anyway, let me talk to you about stress now, okay? But anyway, but it was good because they came in and they helped us with this high-powered, stress. And they said that there are very predictable reasons why we have burnout. Okay, so maybe some of y'all aren't in burnout. I guess it'd be kind of hard since most of us have been home for the last couple of months, but if you have burnout or if you're feeling stress, here's what they said. There are things to look for when people start to burn out because there's very predictable signs. One is anger. Another is fear. Another is worry. And the fourth thing that we look for is guilt. Anger, worry, fear, guilt. Have I and you felt all of these feelings in the last few weeks? I'm worried. I'm angry. I feel some guilt over everything that's going on. So anger is simply the results of not processing feelings about what's going on in our life. So today I'm calling on us to process our feelings around what's going on out there, because anger is worthless. Worry isn't going to get us anywhere at all. We have to start processing. There's nothing to be afraid of right now. I think that underlying a lot of fear that so many people are feeling in this world isn't that they are afraid of the changes, but it is that they are afraid they are not going to know who they are and how to be as life is changing. Does that make sense? Do we know how we will be as our world is changing? So there's some worry about that. There's some fear about that. But it's a shift. It's a shift. Let it go. Practice the principles of prayer and meditation, affirmative work, visioning and visualization. Call a practitioner. Call your friends. Process your feelings around what is going on in our world so that we can move forward into this new world as the new human being. We're seeing our world change, and we're feeling hopeless in many cases. Oh, but I tell you this, Ernest Holmes said this once again from our founder. He said, "There is a perfect concept of humankind held in the mind of the universe as an already accomplished fact. But we are subject to the law of our choices." There is an idea in the mind of God when you were birthed. Spirit moved upon itself in an act of love and recreated itself as you, as me, as all of us. There is a divine prototype in the mind of the universe, the mind of God, that is you. But we can only express ourselves based on the choices that we are making. I'm going to tell you this, guys. We can ask ourselves these questions. Where I am. It's not a question, really. It's really a statement. We can say where I am and where my world is the result of all the choices that I have made up to this point. And teens, I just want to say once again, there's not a person in this room saying that every choice we made was the right choice. Oh, no. Anybody want to stand up and go over and talk to those teens after and say, I'm that one human being that's made all good choices? Anybody? Really? Because they'd love to meet them, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you love to meet them? But I'll tell you what we can say. We can say that every choice we made got us here. The bad ones, if we can use that judgment bad, I don't know. The difficult choices, the choices that maybe looking back I wish I had made differently. Okay, wish I had. But I learned from all of them, as haven't we all in this room. Where I am and where my world is the result of all the choices that I have made. If I'm mediocre, if I'm average, if I'm unfulfilled, if I'm stressed out, it's because of choices that I've made. If I am excited about this new world, if I am moving forward with great anticipation, participating in the changes that are happening, that's a result of the choice that I am making to change my mindset. Because here it is. I want to tell you this. The future is appearing. It's here. It's coming. The future is appearing. We can enter into it one of two ways. Either we say that it is the most exciting time of our life and that we're free to design a new idea, we're free to conceive of new things, new plans, redesign our life, or we can go into the future kicking and screaming and saying, this isn't what I want, I won't go. Because let me tell you this, some people in this room, those of us who've been around a couple of decades, 2 or 3 or more, know that whether you like it or not, you're going to go into the future. You can do it one or 2 ways, as a creative partner or kicking and screaming. Doesn't make a difference. You're going to get into the future either way. And only you have the choice of how you're going to do it. We can enter it with joy, with expectancy, with excitement as a designer of not only our life, but the life of people around us. I think about what these young women are going to say about us in 20 years. When I think about that, I get kind of excited. I get kind of happy because I know that we're changing the world for them and for their children and for future generations. And this time, they're not going to have to, in 50 years, do it again, as we are having to redesign the same world once again. We can go into the future with dread and fear, or with excitement and courage. I see the future. If I see the future as my enemy, then I'm going to be closed down. If you see it as your enemy, as you see it as something to be afraid of, we're going to be closed down. And we're not going to participate in the changes. If you don't want to do it for yourself, then do it for this next generation. Often I say to you that we are the ancestors that future generations will bless or curse. I am excited about the opportunity to recreate a new world for myself and for our world. And I invite you to join me in these changes. Peace and blessings, my beloveds. As Rex is coming up, let's just take a deep breath and ask yourself this question. What is one change that I am willing to make in my personal life right now that I believe will impact my world and the world at large? Close your eyes and think about that. What change am I willing to make that will impact my life and the world for these teenagers? When I make this change, what is it saying about who I am? What do I want it to say? And as we turn within, I bless the changes that are happening through the divine unfoldment of God itself. I bless the changes that are happening in our world as a result of humanity waking up to the true essence of who we are. Made in the image and likeness, and out of that which is infinite intelligence, divine creativity, magnificent power, knowledge and love. This is who we are. This is our birthright. This is why we are here in this moment to represent Spirit as it unfolds in each of our lives right now. When I stand in the awareness that there is no other, no separation between the great Creator and its beloved creations. For God is within us, as us, with us. It is that which woke us up this morning and said, welcome to a new day, a new way of being, a new expression. Welcome to a world with no fear, but with an open heart. Oh God, thank you, thank you, thank you for the peace. Thank you, God, for the strength. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for the wisdom that guides us in all of our ways. And as we move through this world, no longer victims, but creators, I say thank you, God, for the opportunity to create a world that works for all people, everywhere. And so we bless our leaders. We bless those individuals in places of leadership and power, knowing that their hearts are opening, their minds are expanding, and that something in spite of what it looks like is taking over. This quiet, holy, sacred presence of God is at the core of all people, and I am calling it forth now. Thank you, God. Thank you, light. We surrender to this holy, sacred moment that becomes a movement of love. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen. 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 Take a deep breath with me. And those of you in your homes, turn to each other. Those in the sanctuary, turn to each other. And those of you who are alone, just look in the camera with me and namaste and greet each other. I see the spirit of Christ consciousness in you. I salute it. The love that is in me salutes the love that is in you. Oh, so let's just take a moment. This is where we would be singing together, but we're not going to. Just know with me that all is well. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and all of the congregants and members and friends of the Center for Spiritual Living, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to Facebook, and thank you to those of you who have come today. And come back, please come back as we maintain safety for all people. We have one goal in mind, and that is to make sure that all people are healthy, that we're doing our job. So I am really calling on you, as the governor of Idaho also called on us this week. That's a helicopter, I guess. Called on us this week to socially distance and to wear our masks. I'm calling on all of us in the Center for Spiritual Living to step forward in that goal with me, to help keep all people healthy as well as ourselves. And we're so grateful to participate in that. And I did have some more announcements, and now I just don't know what they are. Does anybody want to tell me what my announcements are? Oh, yes, I will tell you what my announcements are, and that is this. First of all, there are ways that you can help the Center for Spiritual Living. You can share this video as you're watching it, as you are watching Facebook Live, or as you are watching the video. You can share it. You can have watch parties. You can click on your Facebook and have a watch party and invite your friends to watch it with you. Also, I would like to say that the more you comment and the more that you hit like and love and all of those things, or ooh, did she really say that? Kind of express. I guess there's what do you call those little things, those little faces? What do you call them? Is that what it's called, an emoji? Now those teens are really laughing at me over in the corner. Be quiet. Hit the one that goes, ooh, did she really say that? The more you do that, the more it takes us up. I mean, there's all kind of things. And then there's something else we would like to invite you to do, which is to go to our Facebook page and go to our cslboise.org and rate the church. If it serves you, rate us. Because I think some of our ratings are like 3 or 4 years old because you people are so busy coming here that you don't do those things. But help us out with that. And then the third announcement that I want to make is next week is Father's Day, correct? Those fathers in the room? He's like, yeah, is it? They better do a barbecue for me, Phil Bowden is saying. So this week, we would love for you to send a photograph with your name and your dad's name to cslnews.org. Is that right, Donna? CSL News. It's cslnews.org. Yeah, it's CSL News at cslboise.org. CSL News at cslboise.org. We would love for you to send a photograph of your father, and if you've got a photograph of you with your dad, that's great. Send it with your dad's name and your name, and we want to put together a little compilation for Father's Day next week for a little something that we're doing. So please send us photographs of your daddy. And now this is our conscious giving time, the time when we are so grateful to receive. Joe, if you don't mind just taking this up, I just want to say thank you to all of you who participate in giving to the church. If you're on Facebook Live right now, Donna's putting up how you can do that, so I won't go over it again, but there are many ways that you can give to the church, including sending your checks to the church, your cash to the church. We will not be taking anything up in the room, but JJ will be holding the basket as you leave. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for being with us on Facebook Live. Let's just take our gift, our offering in our hand as together we say, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. I'm not supposed to encourage you to talk out loud. I'm sorry, my bad. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, the magnificent Lisa Biddick. Woo!
It's a sad picture, the final blow hits you. Somebody else gets what you wanted again. And you know it's all the same, another time and place, repeating history, and you're getting sick of it. But I believe in whatever you do, and I'll do anything to see it through, because these things will change. Can you feel it now? These walls that they put up to hold us back will fall down. It's a revolution. The time will come for us to finally win. And we'll sing hallelujah. We'll sing hallelujah. So we've been outnumbered, raided, and now cornered. It's hard to fight when the fight ain't fair. We're getting stronger now, find things they never found. They might be bigger, but we're faster and never scared. You can walk away, say we don't need this. There's something in your eyes says we can beat this. These things will change. Can you feel it now? These walls they put up to hold the night things changed. Can you see it now? These walls that they put up to hold us back fell down. It's a revolution. Throw your hands up, 'cause we never gave in. And we'll sing hallelujah. We'll sing hallelujah.
Please stand. As you go forth today, dance in the light of spirit to the music of your soul. Have a wonderful week. Thank you.